Okay. Nice chilly morning in Southern California, sipping on not plain fucking water. Watching not plain fucking water. I wanted to come on here because I've got some people reaching out to me, inquiring about the video where I was closing my office because I'm approaching the last week in an office for me ever. I've been in an office or a facility or a gym of some kind for 21 years, and I'm shutting it down. It's at the end of the year, but we're going out of town, so this is the last week I will ever be working in an office capacity in rehabilitation of injuries of all kinds, or the concept of training and movement as it is an essential and a principle to human healing and function. And so they're like, well, now that you're closing it, what are you going to do now? I think some people think I'm just going to get in a van and drive around the nation. Not quite there yet. I still really, really enjoy working with people. And people realizing that they don't need a lot of things, and setting people truly free, getting them to realize that they could set themselves truly free. So what am I doing? I'm 100% Zooms. Zoom rehab sessions, full evaluations, Zoom performance approaches, and the bulk of the time that we're spending on there is concepts and principles for you to apply, and then you to create, you to set yourself away from needing at least the division of medicine and human health that is trainers and therapists and rehabilitation therapies, occupational therapy, physical therapy, all that. You'll see why what you've done hasn't worked, why it won't work, why all these programs, why I'm able to state what I state. There's these huge aha moments. So we cover principles and concepts, and then tests, and then go into individual cases and individual things for that person, spending 2 to 4 hours, sometimes more, with each individual. And then when they're done, they're done. And the only reason that really they reach out is just to tell me they're kicking ass, or to progress to more dangerously safe things that they couldn't do because they didn't have certain basic human capacities locked down. But just coming to terms with realization of why injuries occur and what true training is. And then when they realize this, they're gone. And that's the point. The other options on Zoom, they're called information sessions, and they're some of my favorite. They're 30, 60, 90 plus minutes, and it's really just if you're inquiring about something that's puzzling, but you want a one-on-one devoted time with me to chat and back and forth. You want a Q&A, pummel me with questions. You've got my book, or you've challenged my book, or you have had a plan in the past and you're wondering and you're curious as to it's just straight up nothing really specific, because I can't get into any of the tests or break down a lot of the concepts because you just don't have the time as an eval is set up to have and contain. But the information sessions, literally, God, the waves are big. The information sessions are literally just it's basically like what people want in DMs. They want me to go and break down all this stuff in a DM. Schedule a 30 or 60 minute and we'll go into it. You will get me one-on-one. We'll rock it. And those are cool because the people usually with information sessions come with a ton of questions and a ton of areas that we want to flesh out. And at the end of that time, they're the one madly taking notes. They're the ones where the eval, I'll provide the notes that we end up doing and the specifics of it. So there's those. And I guess I lied. I'm not 100% Zoom because I want to say this. Some people are like, you're not doing anything in person. I can't speak for Cassie and I because we don't know what we would do if we're going to do an in-person event like a House Calls again. But I am, to people who are fairly local I can show up to home or business and do that first intensive, that 2 to 4 hour first eval, and then you get your notes and you get your approach and you're out, and then you're crafting your own stuff. So I can be local to those who are in the Southern California area. I'm not really sure how far I'm willing to drive, but that is a possibility too, because there was some people, they're like, I'm in Carlsbad, or I'm in, hi bud, I'm in Carlsbad, or I'm in XYZ, could we do? Yeah, of course, we just have to schedule it accordingly. So that's where I'm headed. And something else, I have had some people again say this, and I'm constantly repeating videos on this because it seems to be a concern, where I can't start with you, TJ, because I'm not healed, or I'm not lean enough, I'm too fat to start with you, or I'm too weak to start with you, or I'm in a bed. I don't think it would be valuable for me to do work with you and me just being in a bed. And that's part of the concepts and principles we need to break. Because again, as I've said, rehab and training and performance, or even sports performance, has been so perverted that we feel like it has to happen at only the specific time, that you can feel only the specific way, and it has to be in the specific facility with the special equipment, and that's not the case. So some of the coolest cases I've had were where people couldn't get out of a chair, and 4 hours later they've got everything they need to fucking never need another therapist, trainer, anybody ever again. Oh, and they'll ditch the cane when it's appropriate. Oh, and they'll ditch the boots and the orthotics and the whatever as they see fit. So if that's a question you have of yours, it's got to feel right, bottom line. But I know I'm intense in my videos because I may only get 10 to 12 minutes to choke you out. If it's my last video ever made, I want you to take what I'm saying and take it very seriously and know where it's coming from. But when I'm in a one-on-one fashion, can break down things for 2 to 4 hours or more and meet each individual and get to hear and see how they interpret and perceive some of these things and what some of their concerns were. By the end of it, they're done. And high performance shit, even in a bed, even in a wheelchair, even in a chair, even in a, yep. Because again, to even think that I'll start working on my essential of life called movement once I get out of this bed, or once I get out of this facility, or once I get, and it's precisely the not inputting and stimulating movement at that time that's keeping you sustained in that, and holding on to those stories that somebody told you that you decline with age, or you get worse with an injury, or if you've had a surgery, you're going to be more susceptible to this, or you're more fragile, or you're more delicate, or this other joint is going to be affected, or this, that, and the other. Or your body's so perfect, but it's flawed only in the spine, and you need to go to a spine person to get it fixed. It's not the case. So that is the specifics as a follow-up as to why I'm closing my office. I'm no longer going to be continuing this paradigm of you have to go to this special building to gain the knowledge or the wherewithal or the guidance. I'm not participating in that anymore. No more office work. No more again, you get better. You can heal and move and rehab injuries and heal yourself to a level higher than you were before the injury or before the surgery, only if the office is open, or only if I'm in town, or only if I'm there to watch you. I can't participate in that anymore. So closing it down, shifting to complete Zoom format, which allows me to be worldwide. A lot of my people are across the globe, which is awesome. And then I'm going to continue to do these webinars on different topics, but the topics have to stimulate me, not just garbage just to put out volume. I can't do that. And so I think the next one's going to be some edits to the book, how I would structure the training in the book now, modifications to the replenishment section, what the title should have been, what I originally was going to write, the truth behind publishing, the truth behind New York Times bestsellers, I want to literally a revised edition as to what the book would be if it was 2022. There were no limits. I wasn't being guided or coached or anything as to what would I put out or how to actually utilize it, not as a manual of exacts, but as a bound set of principles. But that's not how it was set up or written. And that's unfortunate, and I want to get into that. So I'm going to break that down. It's probably going to be 2 hours, so a little more of my time, a little more of your time. But when that's done, it'll be made for rental, I'm sure, assuming it gets recorded. So that's coming up, probably end of January. But again, full Zooms. I will be doing full rehab and evaluations for people as low end as a professional athlete to as high end as a 80-plus-year-old with healing MS and healing responsive osteoporosis, and everywhere in between. And then information sessions, 30, 60, or 90-plus minutes, just to sit across and pepper me with questions, pick my brain, get me to expound upon, flesh out, deeper dive on topics. You get me in a one-on-one, but it's more discussion-based, not tests, not evaluations, nothing specific to you, just specific to what you ask. So that's where I'm headed. Hope that that is clear, and keep referring to this video and the video of why I closed my office to get some clarity, and email me if you want some more clarity. Wow. All right, back to this beautiful, beautiful place. I actually need to do some movement inputs before my Zoom today.